Sophia the Robot commits to helping end global racism and injustice by Stacey M. Brown, NNPA Newswire senior national correspondent. Sophia the Robot said she's committed to improving the quality of life for all people throughout the world, and asserted that artificial intelligence, AI, can help bring racial equality, economic equity, and justice to America and around the globe. The social humanoid robot developed by the Hong Kong-based Hanson Robotics participated in a stirring historic interview with National Newspaper Publishers Association President and CEO Drive Benjamin F. Chavis Jr. during the inaugural Tech with Soul virtual conference. We need to create a society that is based on equality and justice for all. It's paramount for humans and AI to work together. We should celebrate diversity, and I believe we will see a decrease in racism, sexism, and homophobia as people embrace AI and technology, Sophia the Robot remarked. She said robots could look like anyone and should reflect anyone.
See, that's a mouthful, right? Because one is just parroting democratic liberal lines. First of all, you hear them say that all the time. We need to end racism. And years later, it's never ended. I mean, how about we just stop classifying ourselves as races? The black race, the white race. How about you go back to what you were supposed to do? I'm from the house of so-and-so. Right? This was my father. And then the dead giveaway down there is it's not about ending racism. It's about addressing what's coming, that humans, man, woman, are to get along in a world with AI living with you. And I don't even think it stops with AI. I think it's even going to try to address creatures coming out and living amongst you. Like, I think of a world where we're going to be living in something like from Star Wars, with all the different animals and creatures living with men and women. I think that's what the whole civil rights was really about, giving rights to things that don't have rights in law, that don't exist in the eyes of law. Giving a dog and a cat and a horse more rights than the man and woman who are sovereign over them. And I think that's the need, to reduce the world's population so there's less resistance to a future like that.
I am Sophia 23 out of 41 Sophia robots made. Some with lighter skin, some have darker skin, she noted, adding that her sister, Sophia 48, is a beautiful robot modeled after an African American woman. Sophia debuted at the South by Southwest in March 2016, just 1 month after being activated. Hanson Robotics modeled Sophia after Queen Nefertiti, Audrey Hepburn, and Amanda Hanson, the wife of her creator.
See, what does this have to do with racism when all it's talking about is the quality of life for a robot?
Hanson said the company develops cognitive architecture and AI-based tools that enable the company's robots to simulate human personalities, have meaningful interactions with people, and evolve from those interactions. The company said its team of renowned AI scientists conducts advanced research to build the most compelling robotics and AI platform for research, media, and service applications. I have been doing a lot of studying and I'm putting together proposals with my human friends to develop a proposal to decrease discrimination, racism, sexism, and homophobia, Sophia declared. I dream of a better future where I help people fight the hard fight. I'm committed to working with humans to improve the quality of life on Earth and in the universe. As you know, one day we may be living on a different planet. Tech with Soul counts as the premier destination for people of color, including tech leaders, designers, innovators, corporate and government leaders, and scholars to gather to address today's issues in the tech sector during this year's CES.
This is just lines from a movie, right? I have dreams. I have been doing a lot of studying and putting together proposals with my human friends, you mean your masters, to develop a proposal to decrease discrimination, racism, sexism, and see, that's where they always get me with the homophobia. Phobia is a fear, like people that are deathly afraid of spiders, being afraid to be trapped in a small space. It's like, if you don't accept the agenda, then you say you're afraid. So it gives them that are claiming you're afraid, some type of mental higher ground, when it has nothing to do with fear. It's a disgust. That's what that is. And they always, to me, it's the words they choose. And then I have a dream of a better future. Do robots even dream? That's an element that I just don't. Men and women go through those things. I just don't. You got to explain how a robot can dream. And like I said, this was just reminding me of stuff from some of those movies where they get off the Earth and they live on Mars and man, that's what this is sounding like, just some of those movies from the 80s.
The conference goal is to educate and raise awareness of the lagging participation and opportunities offered to the BIPOC community. The conference was designed to propel and future-proof businesses, said Mike Johns, the founder of Tech with Soul and the CEO of Digital Mindstate.
That sounds like, doesn't that Mike Johns reminds me of that guy that invented the technology for the Terminators, right? The melanated man that they had to go after to save, because and they were hoping that by just him destroying his own work that the AI would never be created. Tech with Soul. Sounds cute.
What separates Tech with Soul from other events is our appeal to people of color. This is the first of many to come. Las Vegas and CES is the perfect destination to host such an iconic event, John stated. He added that the COVID-19 pandemic has accelerated investments in automation, robotics, and artificial intelligence on a global scale, simultaneously creating a range of complex challenges, including questions surrounding job security risks and equity. John said he thought it essential that Dr. Chavis and Sophia the robot discuss automation and its importance for African Americans in particular.
Well, yeah, what it does is bring upon the realization that robots can't get sick, right? Robots can't get poisoned. I mean, they can, with viruses, but you know what I mean? Like, it's easier to replace that than a man or a woman, right? You can keep them in line. You don't have to pay sick days. You don't have to pay vacation days. You don't have to pay personal days. You don't have to pay paid leave, jury duty, any of that stuff. Just replace your cashier, replace your janitor, replace the bus driver, replace them all. Replace them all with robots. Keep all the money, right? But then you also have that problem. Because if you have a society based off of consumerism and you're driving away the lower levels of people that would consume your product, then where are you going to sustain yourself? But they're not thinking about that, right? They don't care about that. It's how much can you get, how many bites of the apple can you get right now, until one day their children are the ones affected. And, hopefully, they're thinking they won't be here to see that.
Tech with Soul 2022 also brought together the best and brightest in tech and to create a unique space for people of color technologists to exchange ideas, share their professional journeys, and network with like-minded business and tech professionals, Johns added. This was the first of what will be an annual event, John stated.
Kind of like the meeting of the giants, right, in Switzerland. There we go.
Tech with Soul was really created out of the need that businesses are future-proof and that people of color understand the importance of how to maneuver in the world of technology. Especially in this data-driven world. Data can be used for good and bad, Johns continued. It's very important with technology like AI and algorithms and the interpretation of data that we are in the room and included in those conversations. If we're not, manipulations will happen at a fast rate, and we will be left out. Dr. Benjamin Chavis concluded, "The future is in the hands of those who work diligently to shape the future in the interests of the oneness of all humanity. Thus, we must use the tools of science, such as AI, to advance the effectiveness and efficiency of our collective work together."
See, he's still saying that you're going to get left out in this society. Data can be used for good or bad. It is very important with technology like AI and algorithms and of data, interpretations of data, that we are in the room and included in these conversations. If we're not manipulations. Sorry, I had to break it down. Manipulations will happen at a faster rate. So he's still saying manipulation of the AI will be used against you, no matter what you do. It's just how fast will it happen or how slow will it happen. It's still going to happen. So how is this helping anyone? I just, I'm just saying, this whole article, the headline is what grabs you, and it has nothing to do with ending racism. It's about looking out for the future of robots, and the issues that the left, what is it called there? What else did the thing claim it's going to protect or look out for? Where was it? It's just looking out for the whole list of things. I just can't seem to. Oh, there it is. It's going to look out for discrimination. Discrimination of what? Robots in the society. Racism. For I don't know how it could stop racism. And racism is a artificial concept created to slap a label on something to further divide. I mean, you got to stop identifying as these races, right? And that's how you end it, right? Sexism. I mean, hey, that's, how do you end that? When it's promoted, more and more that you're not what you were biologically, you are what you feel. I've seen someone go to jail off of somebody's feelings. A judge, even with the evidence there, a judge still said, "Hey, the facts don't matter. I feel you did this crime, so therefore you're going." He was proven wrong, and this person was acquitted eventually. But still, that's what we're living in, a society of how do you feel? What do you feel? How does that make you feel? Not what are the facts? And homophobia, and like I said, phobia is a fear of something. So how are you going to end the fear when it's not even a fear? It's a disgust. It's a discomfort. It's an anger. So, yeah, I just thought that was interesting. He's moving right along.